that you're doing a good job understanding what you need to film. My name is Allison Vincent. I'm one of the head recruiting coaches here at NCSA, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you need in order to be successful here tonight. Make sure that you guys are understanding your next steps. I had an opportunity to compete at Indiana University because I showed a college coach my video, and my technique was pretty awful. And so if I had not had the opportunity to show them a video and let them see exactly what I was doing, I would not have had the opportunity that I did with Indiana University. So I'm a huge believer in making sure that you guys are putting together great videos, getting that information out to coaches. So today we're going to talk about the timing of getting video footage and when you should actually do that, how to logistically get the right angle on that video footage, coaches are looking for and how they're going to use that information, and then also how to get your video footage over to NCSA. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you guys have at the end, so you want to make sure that that you're understanding understanding what you need to do in order to move forward. The thing I want to do is understand when you need to shoot your video. If you have multiple videos with your membership, you can definitely go through and make sure that you are utilizing those, and you want to make sure that you're saving at least one of your highlight videos for your junior season. Your junior season is what college coaches are going to concentrate on more than anything else, so you definitely want to make sure that that junior season is prevalent. With technical events, anything hurdles, and any of the field events, you want to make sure that you're getting into your season a few weeks and making sure that you're feeling really comfortable with your technique in order to get some footage taken within running events. You want to make sure that you're in a competitive race. So you don't necessarily have to win, but you definitely want to make sure that you're in a competitive race so you can show college coaches on the distance side of things, your pacing and your strategy, and on the sprint side of things that you can show them, how you execute on a race plan. So you want to make sure that you're definitely paying attention to when you actually should be filming those. In terms of getting the right angle, guys, typically getting up as high as possible is better because you want to make sure that you're looking at the track unobstructed and that you're not going to have an umbrella or a tent or a person in your way in order to get your student athlete on the track. Anything that you're doing that's under 400 meters, try to use the press box and make sure that you are zooming in on your student athlete, getting as zoomed in as possible without distorting the image, but make sure that you're zooming in and use a tripod if at all possible, especially if you're sitting up in the press box. And the press box is a great place to film from because normally it's being used for scoring during a track meet, so it's certainly something that would be open for you. But go ahead and use a tripod and try to stabilize that shot as much as possible and try to zoom in. Do not film from the backstretch, whether you're filming distance events or sprint events. It's really disorienting to watch. It's very difficult to even figure out what event is going on if you film from the backstretch. So make sure that you're definitely filming from the home stretch. And if you're filming anything over 400 meters, make sure that you're definitely well-versed with the zoom because you're going to have to zoom in on the backstretch and probably zoom out on the home stretch. So make sure that that's something that you're practicing on before your student-athlete gets off to a good start. The longer relays, you want anything over a 4x4, you want to make sure that you're doing you're following the instructions for any of the distance events. Any of the sprint relays, you can stand right on top of the exchange zone and get your student athlete either coming into the exchange zone and making the exchange or leaving the exchange zone. Either way definitely works, but you want to make sure that that's the area that you're targeting on. In terms of field events, you want to make sure that you're definitely doing a good job getting as close as possible, but I also understand that with competition footage, there are going to be some challenges there. Like if pole vault is typically on the infield and you're generally not allowed there. So make sure that you're getting as close as you can, be pretty careful of block shots, and try to get a variety of different angles on the events if you can. With throwers, you want to make sure that you're definitely safe first and foremost. Obviously implements can maim or kill, and you want to make sure that you definitely are not in the way of a flying implement. I can tell you I've hit a few times in my career when I've seen a photographer get hit because they're looking through a lens rather than looking at the implement that's coming towards them. So definitely, first and foremost with any type of field events, especially throws, make sure that you're safe, getting as close as you can and don't interfere with the officials for the event. Trying to get a variety of angles is definitely going to be helpful. Somebody under 400 meters, skills video is really going to be helpful for you, and skills video is a fancy way to say practice footage. And we want to make sure that you are definitely understanding how to get that footage. The practice footage is going to be helpful, especially for field events, because you can get much closer. You can get a much better angle on your student athlete with skills footage during practice versus competition. So you want to make sure that you're doing a good job and that you are having your student athlete go through either full throws or full jumps with vaulters and high jumpers. Make sure you're jumping over a bar instead of a bungee. And what we want you to do is get a 360-degree view of their event. So they can do, 10 or 15 full runs, full starts, full first 3 hurdles for hurdlers, full throws, all of that fun stuff. And what you do is you move around them and make sure that you're getting all of the angles on their event. So you definitely want to make sure that that's something that you're doing a good job with in terms of filming that practice footage if you can. Common mistakes that we see when student athletes are setting this video footage, the biggest thing is probably the stability aspect of it. You have to make sure that you're doing something to stabilize the footage. We have a lot of people who use their phones or use a mobile device in order to get a video footage, which is certainly fine, but you want to make sure that you're making that as stable as possible. And then you want to make sure that you're also using Zoom correctly during the race in order to be able to ensure that you are doing a good job getting that information over to us in appropriate format, and that we're not looking at, your student athlete all over the track and looking at their thigh in the home stretch and not being able to see them in the back stretch. We've got a lot of folks who forget that they're filming a race. That's definitely a challenge. Jumping up and down with the camera in your hand, yelling maybe not so appropriate things at your student athlete. You want to make sure that you definitely are remembering that you're filming a race. And then also just not setting up the shot correctly. I can tell you how many races I've seen where I get to like 10 meters before the finish line and then all of a sudden there's a giant umbrella there. Or, there's a telephone pole right at the finish line. Or the other day I got a video footage from a shot putter with every time that she would go, the person who was moving the board around would basically flip it until she was blocked right before she released the shot put. So it was of negligible value because it was something that we couldn't really use at that point. So you really want to make sure that you're thinking through the things and that you're looking at the entire film in the entire space that you're going to be working in. So college coaches really look for with your video footage. You guys know this is all about numbers, right? We're in a numbers-based sport, numbers-driven sport, where everything is based on what your PRs are. But at the end of the day, they look at your video for the rest of the story. What are the other chapters looking like? What potential do you have to continue to improve? And a lot of times that film really tells that story for you. So you want to make sure, especially if you don't have perfect technique, if you maybe are a little bit less technical because you don't have a high school coach, that you're definitely putting together this footage and getting that out in front of college coaches. They're definitely going to want to see that, and they're going to want to make that evaluation. Once you have that video footage, guys, you need to get it over to us. So you want to make sure that you're either saving it, if you've got it on your mobile device, you can export it directly to YouTube and then get the YouTube videos over to us. If you want to burn it onto a DVD or a thumb drive, you can send those over to us. If you want to go ahead and upload it through your recruiting management system, that's another option that you have in order to get that video footage to us if you've got it saved on your computer. So edit profile and then video in order to reach the upload tool. I mean, if you've got other sources for video, you can certainly go through and get those over to us. As long as it's not copyright protected, we can certainly utilize that for your video. Guys, I do want to open up the floor for any questions that you have. Go ahead and type those questions in the chat box for me, if you would, please. question. So if you've got video footage from your sophomore season, you can certainly go ahead and upload it, but I would wait and I would hold off on using all your video footage. Save at least one for your junior year. So if you only have one highlight video, upload that sophomore footage as a YouTube video or something along those lines. But if you have multiple highlight videos, go ahead and definitely use one from your sophomore year and then hang on to one for your junior year. The length on track videos really depends on the events that you're in. You know, like I've got 3,200 meter kids who are sending in literally 20 minutes worth of video because they're sending in a 3,200, a 1,600, an 800, and, you know, like giving us all of their races, which is fine. But then I've got sprinters who can put, you know, 10 races in under a minute. So it depends on the events that you're in, what's going to be a good length for you. I would say if you're a field event, probably about a minute and a half. Or in another event, track event, then certainly going through and kind of multiplying out your event by however many times you're going to be able to put it on the screen is helpful. So most sprinters, you're probably going to be around, you know, 2 or 3 minutes. And most mid-distance kids, you're probably going to be around 10, and then distance, you're probably going to be around 15 to 20. Other questions for me tonight at all? Let me check Jalen's account and just see if we've gotten those yet. So guys, when you get video footage to us, that actually brings up a good question. When you get video footage to us, it usually takes about 10 days in order for us to turn around that video. So if you've submitted video footage and it's been less than 10 days, you should get a confirmation as soon as you upload it or as soon as you email it over to us. But if you've submitted video footage, it'll typically take about 10 days in order to produce. And it looks like Kim, Jalen, you or Jalen have actually uploaded that as a YouTube link. So that's certainly fine to keep that as a YouTube link, or we can combine that together and make that into a highlight video. But we don't naturally take your YouTube links and combine those together. So if you want that done, go ahead and shoot us an email at video@NCSA Sports. I'll type that in the chat box for you here. And we'll go ahead and get that done for you. But they're great to use, especially during the course of the season. It's, you know, like if you've got a PR and you can pop that up on your profile really quickly, that's a great way to show coaches, hey, I've got a new PR and this is something that I wanted to, you know, show you guys really quickly. Number of highlight videos definitely depends on the membership that you have. Yep. Question. So cross country is really difficult, right? Cross country is not the best sport in the world. The drone footage is good. It certainly can be helpful. I'd love to see that footage actually, Trevor. I'm going to look up your profile now and see if it's up there already. Because I have not seen good drone footage of a cross country race yet, just because there's not always, you know, like you've got some pretty inexperienced operators out there, and a lot of times, you know, it's parents. No offense, parents, and I'm one too, and I can't video my own children either. So, you know, it's one of those that that if you got somebody who's really good at filming it, it can definitely be helpful. Great. That's probably, honestly, the best cross-country footage that I've seen, Trevor, because most of the time, obviously, if you're taking it from the ground, you get such little snippets of time that it's very difficult to really tell anything from it. So, yes, that's great footage. Queasy, but that's okay. Kim, we will actually strip out all the audio from any highlight videos that we put up, just simply because go, some of it's a little less appropriate than that. So, yeah, we always strip out the audio. Are there questions tonight, guys?
No, I was looking for the entire.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining me. Please make sure that you're reaching out with any questions that you have or any help that you're needing in your recruiting process. Have a great night.